All right, guys, good morning. It is, what day is it today? Thursday, March 3rd. And
fancy.
What is Patrick doing today? You're gonna sing Fancy for us?
No, I did that last night in the shower, but I'm going to work on welding this up and then start on the floor. Tyler's gonna get here, he'll work on the tail, and then we'll just meet each other in the front and get it off the jig today, hopefully.
Okay, and this is chassis number 50, correct?
50, yep.
50,
Big
so we
5-0.
got 8 more to go. So we're gonna probably fall too short from last year unless y'all call in and get a new car.
Start buying.
There you go. We do not stop building. We'll build for you whenever you want. Ben is over here in this corner.
Rain, sleet, or snow.
This is in the middle of the shop.
And what are you doing over here?
Well,
Bumpers. We gotta stock up on bumpers. We got a couple cars that are hopefully heading out today. I am heading to powder coat. I got a car in the trailer that somebody repaired on their own and asked us to bring to powder coat. So I said it again. So I'm gonna head to powder coat, trying to beat the weather that's coming in. They say rain, snow, sleet, ice, whatever. So the quicker I get on the road, the better. So I'm gonna jump in the truck here and take off. All right. Okay, so we made it to D&K. Like I said, I'm picking up a car and I'm dropping off a car, a repaired car for repowder. They do reblast and repowder the cars down here. When they have to reblast, it does get a little bit more expensive because they want to make sure they get that paint off the chassis and then repainted so it's not so built up on there, I guess, for to say. So I made it to powder coat, so I'll go ahead and hop out here. I'll unload this car, and then it looks like I have to go up there on the landing and pick up the car. So this will take a few minutes, so I'll just get off and get unloaded and reloaded. All right, thanks, guys. Stormy, are you helping today? Yeah, you helping today?
Go over Venmo. Make sure they're at that fucking discount here.
What are you doing today, Stormy? Are you working on this? Is this what you're doing? Yeah? Yeah? Trying to figure this out, huh? Stormy's putting the Ford motor in a car, aren't you? Good shop, dog. Good shop, dog. today's Friday. Stormy's trying to look for a tape measure. Give you a little Stormy impact there. This car is car number 50, just about ready to come off the jig here. Ben and Paul have been working to update this car. Ben, just about?
Almost done.
Almost done. So this one's just about done, ready to go back outside under the tarp. This car here will be picked up today. We got a car out in the trailer that we have some aluminum over there that's all bent up, and it will need a body, so Ben's been trying to prep all that stuff. So we're just about done. All right, so we're here with Mike Nichols from, well, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Mike Nichols, and I'm from Harlan, Iowa.
What racetracks do you all frequently race at throughout the season?
Usually try to stick with the IMCA sanction, and we race anywhere from 3 to 4 nights a week. Sometimes starting on Thursday nights at the US 30 Speedway in Columbus, and then Friday nights the Crawford County Speedway in Denison, Saturday nights the Shelby County Speedway in Harlan, and Sunday nights we venture out to the Dawson County Raceway in Lexington, Nebraska.
Okay. So I had some viewers that asked me some questions. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of have a question answer with you.
Hi, Paul.
How's it going, Mike?
Yep, Paul just walked in, so I tried to tell him to be quiet, but it's Paul, so.
That's to be expected.
Yeah, operator, co-pilot.
So let's start out with the first question that somebody asked was, when you're at the racetrack, what do you look at for track conditions changing? What are you, when you're watching the races, what are you watching for?
Well, that has changed over the years. When I first started racing, my dad got me involved, and one of the things my dad was always known for was having a stopwatch around his neck. So now we have, there are tracks that have transponders where you can actually go on like My Race Pass, and you can see the lap times. And if you've run that track consistently, you can compare lap times, you know, with weeks past or even earlier in the night, and you can tell kind of how much the track drops off. But typically what I look for, without looking at that, you know, I lean over to my wife and say, what, you know, where are we at, stopwatch time, or, you know, lap time. And but I look at the color of the dirt change, you know, if a little bit of dust starts flying, and then again on the weekly stuff, you kind of know which cars to follow in the other classes. So I might see one guy which I know goes real good on the high side, and he may not be able to make the high side work, so it kind of gives me a little bit of in, because never fails, whether draw, redraw or not, or just lining up by points, I seem to be in the 5th or 6th row.
Okay. Staying kind of with the track, how much tire work do you do leading up to the races?
As little as possible, but tire work it's a necessary evil. The one thing about tires is that it's the only part of your race car that touches the racetrack. So tires are extremely important. I would say we'll probably spend anywhere from 4 to 10 hours a week on tires, which is, I'd say, basically at a minimum. So I grind feature tires before every feature, and then you know, whether it be grooving, siping, whatever. You've got your siping machine over here. We actually have one at our house as well, but the grooving, of course, has added a whole new dynamic. So yeah, I spend a lot of time
on tires. Do you run a thermostat or do you run a spacer?
Interesting. I actually run a divider. So thermostat, like an actual thermostat, is just something else that can go bad. So I've always either run just like a washer But right now I just run a divider. So Weirs makes actually it's a spacer and it's a divider. So it just divides left and right to make sure that the water is kind of even on both sides of the engine.
Okay. What type of spark plugs do you prefer?
Cheap, the ones that work. I run a NGK 5673-8.
There you go. Shock changes. How often are you changing shocks? Are you changing shocks per track? In between races? What are you?
Well, as little as possible. But it really, I do what my race car tells me to do. So if I feel like it needs more attitude, I might make a shock adjustment. Of course, track conditions can vary in there, but I would say I pretty much have a standard shock package that I run pretty much everywhere, and then I'll make an adjustment on the the rears or the fronts or whatever. But typically, if I'm doing a front, I'll do both sides. If I'm doing the back, I'll do both sides.
Okay. Switching gears a little bit. We're going to talk about rookie drivers a little bit. So the first thing, when you first started racing, how did you go about sponsorship, marketing yourself, trying to get your,
That's a great question, and it's ongoing. Even when you've raced for as long as I have, when I first started racing, I didn't have any of these gray hairs, but really it's about relationships. And when you mention the word sponsorship, that's a word I don't like to use. I actually prefer the term partnership. When you approach new or potential sponsors, it's best to approach that with, would you be interested in partnering for the season? So nobody's just going to want to hand you something for nothing. So it's more like, what are you going to do for me, and what am I going to do for you? So, but I think if you have a plan in place and you're sincere about it, and go up to the right person, it should work out.
There you go. Advice for rookie stock car drivers in the stock car class, or rookie drivers in the stock car class?
Start in the back, especially if you're in my row. No. The most important thing is, I think, generally speaking, in the stock car class versus other classes that I've been around, most of the guys that have raced for a long time are very, very willing to help others. And so if you have questions, go ask. Everything I've ever learned in racing has cost money, and it pains me to see people make the same mistakes that I have, so I'm always willing to help. So yeah, for rookies, just don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. And it is true, though. I mean, honestly, like, as far as starting in the back, my dad has raced for a long time, and he has always said, start in the back. When you start passing cars, you're going someplace.
There you go. Yeah,
And-
don't you agree, Paul? That's when advice for rookie drivers. Start in the back, especially if you're in my row.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you learn to go forward and not go backwards. When you go backwards, you don't make friends. When you go forward, well, you don't make friends going forward either, but at least you learn how to pass cars clean and not wreck shit.
And that's that's what
the key
we all
to
want to
winning.
do.
Yep.
So the last question is, when did it set in that you are a 10-time national championship, and what does it feel like, and how does it make you feel?
None of racing in period has ever, or accomplishments have ever really set in. Until you look at yourself in the mirror and see the gray hairs, and then you come home and see, trophies from 20 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think, but it's been a long ride. It's been a good one. But getting back to the previous question, even I'm just happy to help the younger generation, so they can have as much fun as I did along the way.
Just continue to grow the sport. I agree. All right. You guys got anything else you want to say since Paul joined us now?
No, I'm terrible under pressure. I can't come up with anything.
If you guys could see right now, Paul Berger is licking a window.
Yeah. Someone's got to keep it clean. Someone's got to keep it clean.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mike, for taking the time just to answer some questions. I mean, it's probably not a lot of information, but it's just something good content. So
Thank you, Missy.
yeah, thank you.
Going.
Okay, we forgot one thing. You have a side business. Let's give your side business a little plug here.
Thank you. The wife and I do rim polishing. So we basically can chemically enhance any parts that you can think about. So whether it be bearings, your rear gears, or anything, you can reach out to me for an estimate. I think we're pretty reasonable. But once again, we like to help racers and see everybody's stuff last longer.
Perfect.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell.